Hey, we're live. Welcome to today's stream. So today we're joined by the team from YAW, which is a project that is working on NFTs on Solana. So real quick, could you guys introduce yourselves? Robo and from YAW.
Hey guys, Robo here. I'm one of the founders of the YAWww platform, and I guess we'll go into more in depth what it is. I was privileged enough to pull the team together that we now have, and yeah, looking forward to digging in.
And I am Snappa. I'm also on the YAW team. Apologies for anyone who's not used to seeing, cartoon pictures for profile pictures. But yeah, Robo and I were using our NFT avatars, which if anyone's listening to this broadcast and they're kind of skeptical on NFTs or new to NFTs, we'll be happy to talk about that a little bit more later and why we personally love being able to use these fun avatars for our kind of profile pictures. So yeah, apologies, you can't see our faces and read through our, emotional reactions to everything.
All right. So as I said, YAW is a project that's working on NFTs on Solana, right? So anything you want to do with NFTs on Solana, buy, sell, trade, loan, whatever, you're going to be able to do on YAW. But just before we dive deeper into what YAW is, there might be some new users, new people out there who are not particularly sure what NFTs are, right? Sometimes some people think that they're just JPEGs. People are just crazy for buying and selling, JPEG tokens. But it's a lot more than that, isn't it? Could you guys explain really what the potential is there in the NFT market, why you decided to start a project on NFTs?
Robo, do you want to kick it off and then I'll throw in my answer?
Yeah. So basically, the reason why we started the NFTs was really, and I guess we will also talk about why Solana, but I think for me, at least personally, they go hand in hand because the NFTs really are rather fresh on Solana. On Ethereum, they have been out for a while. But what really sparked out was, yes, you could right-click save the JPEGs, etc., but it's also about the utility of it, right? Like the unique ownership of it, the proof of ownership of it, and you can really use them as keys or tickets, right? Like if you want to belong to a club or a country club or whatever, you need to buy a ticket. And here we are, really talking about a method or a technology that you cannot deny whether you own something or you don't. And I believe that will open up a lot of future use cases just far beyond trading just JPEGs, as it even may appear to some people right now. Thinking bigger, at one point we will be able to trade options or startup options on the blockchain as NFTs, for example, or mortgages or even car leases or whatnot. So that's where the world is going. We're going to digitalize all of these contracts, and it makes sense because the old way is just not efficient enough. So very early days, but yeah, that's what got me excited about the NFTs as an overarching movement and trend.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about what Bitcoin did, right, and what blockchain created, it was simply a way to have digital scarcity, complete with verifiable ownership that anybody at any time, anywhere in the world, can just check the public ledger and verify who owns what. So with Bitcoin, it was just how much Bitcoin do you have on how much, how much is in your wallet? Like what's your balance? And then with NFTs, it was the same concept, only we're now tying these, tokens that are obviously not fungible, not one for one is the exact same value, but every single one is unique. And one of the ways in which the early kind of creators of NFTs, I don't know if the CryptoPunks were the very, very first, but they were definitely the ones to make it the most popular of a new idea, was tying it to images, which kind of created a fun element of collecting, of trading, things that feel very, very native and natural and almost nostalgic to anybody who's played Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh, or even like, you know, online massive multiplayer role-playing games like RuneScape, World of Warcraft. You know, it was a very natural kind of thing for people who are now really into NFTs, who are used to trading and collecting, but also used to like a video game environment where you're trading digital items back and forth. And so with NFTs, especially when you have these different collections and items with different levels of rarity, it is fun. It is a game. People love to collect. People love to trade. And then you also form these communities, these relationships. There's a culture aspect to it. And so it's been very addicting and really alluring to anybody who, you know, once you kind of start dabbling with it, it's usually hard to stop. You know, once you open up that door, you realize just how fun it is, and you can't really help but to go all in with everything.
Yeah, one of the things that excites me personally about NFTs is, you know, with all the metaverse hype, you know, if people are going to go digital, we're going to live in a digital universe. Well, people are going to want to own stuff. They're going to need to own a building. You're going to own, you know, some digital clothes. You're going to have your games. You're going to need your in-game assets. All these things, you know, they're best represented. They're not all going to, you know, maybe Facebook won't do it, but the smart ones are going to incorporate NFT technology, right? So if you're bullish on the metaverse, I think that pretty much means you're going to be bullish on the future of NFTs as well. I think it's going to be an integral part of that future. So I think that's just the way that the whole world is going towards. This is the next like a natural evolution of blockchain technologies, that we started with tokens that were indistinguishable from each other, and now people are starting to want to, you know, use that technology to prove their ownership of distinct, unique assets. So another thing I wanted to ask you guys is, you could have launched your project on any chain. There's so many chains out there, right? There's, you know, aside from Ethereum, you could have launched on Polygon, you could have launched on Polkadot, Avalanche. There's so many choices out there. So why did you pick Solana?
That's a good question, and you know, one of my friends made this analogy of you know, different blockchains. You know, Solana sort of being the Apple, and then, you know, compared to other chains, and it doesn't really matter what the other chain references were, but from my perspective, and also from the developer perspective, Solana does work in that sense. It's fast. You can build on it. It's sort of working very well, with a couple of hiccups, right? Like it's still in beta, and occasionally it has its struggles as any other technology, but it's really fast, you know. And obviously then the other side is the low fees aspect of it as well, because when we're really talking about utility, or that you need to make a lot of transactions, whether it's trading or whether it's, you know, selling or whatever it is, then it does at the end of the day need to be affordable for people, right? Because otherwise, you know, making a lot of transactions or building games or whatever technology you're building on top of it, if it's very expensive, it's very hard to scale. And so that's, you know, the two reasons. It's fast, it works, and also it's very cheap to build on top of, and which personally I think will be, you know, in the longer run, one of the main competitive edges for the Solana blockchain. So very bullish on the chain itself.
I think one thing people overlook is that Solana is not just another layer one, not just another chain. Is you know, it's backed by FTX, right? And you know, FTX is not going anywhere anytime soon. A lot of these other layer ones, like, you know, it's just the chain itself, just the project. So if something's wrong with the chain, if something goes wrong, they might have trouble finding investments. And what's going to happen to your NFTs that are living on those chains, who knows, right? But if with something that's backed with the full power of FTX behind it, I think Solana is going to, even if they have run into problems, they're going to have, you know, FTX pulling strings, investing, and making sure that things run as smoothly as possible.
Yeah, and oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, so which sort of brings up the other element as well, is more like they do see also the community element of it, right? And they seemingly appreciate it a lot, as they, they've opened up a lot of hacker houses or Solana houses for people to just come in, develop, show off the projects. They're very actively supporting the community as it relates to, grants, prizes, etc. So I think they're doing it the right way, where, obviously technology has to be a good thing to work with in the first place. But, if you have that box checked, other chains can sort of say the same, but they're very actively taking care of the community and growing and bringing and onboarding people to the community, which, again, it will be very important for people to make the choice to jump on Solana and build on top of it.
And I think, when we say they're hackathons, right? It's not just that they're going to attract developers onto the hackathons are going to cause these developers to create dApps that attract more users into the ecosystem. And once people are in the ecosystem, they have some money lying around. Some random Sunday they decide, you know what, I want to buy some NFTs. Where can I go buy some NFTs? Then they're going to start looking, because there's going to be a lot of, the more money splashing around in the ecosystem, the more opportunity there is for growth. And FTX, with their Super Bowl ads and celebrity partners and endorsements and whatever, that's marketing gold right there, that you're not going to find on many other chains, right? So that's also an important part there, is that the users that they're going to be able to bring into the ecosystem, the money, the investors they're going to be able to bring to the ecosystem, investors who are looking for a chain that's not going to disappear in 5 years or 10 years. I think Solana is one of the top choices out there.
Yeah. And I mean, each different chain, whether it's like Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, they all have different pros and cons. And so I think the future is going to be a multi-chain, kind of universe, and people will just, depending on what you're trying to accomplish, just switch back and forth between chains and be using bridges to move funds around. But for me personally, I was very heavily invested in Ethereum and a lot of tokens in that ecosystem. And I saw in early 2021, I saw Solana trending all over my Twitter, when it was around $1. And unfortunately, it took me until it got to like $20, $25 to finally say, okay, I'm going to try this thing out and like see why it's so popular. And as soon as I interacted with the Solana blockchain, compared to Ethereum, it was just the speed and the transaction time. I think for anybody who hasn't tried it out yet, it's mind blowing, particularly because there's so much on Solana that has been built, from DEXs, from NFT exchanges, to all these things. It's such a vibrant ecosystem compared to some other chains you might try, where it's like, oh, this has instant transaction time and like it's free for the fees, but you go there and it's like it's like a wasteland. There's nobody really there doing anything or building anything. But I think, at least on one chart that I saw, a few months ago, if I understood the chart correctly, it was just showing development activity taking place on Solana versus Ethereum. And I think Solana, for the first time, surpassed Ethereum in the amount of development taking place on chain, from new dApps to new, cryptos being built and everything. And so I think it's drawing a lot of people in, because it just has that speed and efficiency that, at least when it comes to the YAW platform and trading NFTs and selling and buying, that's so absolutely essential. Because if you're trying to trade an NFT that's worth $100, but you have to pay $100 in gas every time you move it around, like, it's impossible to really make a profit or at all. But for people who want to try to, they find something that's listed and they think, oh, that's undervalued, I think that one should actually be worth a little bit more. It's so much fun for those people who are like bargain hunters, deal hunters, just go around sniping some cheap NFTs and then, relisting them at what they would consider to be a fair price, and just kind of capturing a little bit of, buying and selling. And it's just fun for people to do that. But with expensive gas fees, it's impossible to do. But with Solana, it's super easy.
Yeah, so I guess we're all pretty much in agreement here that we're all bullish Solana. So let's dive deeper now. So we've established why we should be interested in NFTs, why we're in Solana. So could you now explain to the viewers here what exactly YAW is what your goals are. What problems are you guys fixing? That why do I need to trade my NFTs on YAW and not somewhere else?
That's a great question. And if we're talking about peer-to-peer trading, then we are lucky enough sort of that we were the first solution, and so far I think we can say that we have captured the niche as it relates to peer-to-peer trading. So YAW is the only option, and right now we have been able to do this quite well, that allows you to peer-to-peer trade, and that's where we sort of started. Peer-to-peer trading, that was our initial niche. We saw a gap in the industry where the status quo of, okay, so let's say I have a $20,000 NFT. I want to trade it with you, Penguin, and then it's more like, okay, so who goes first now? Like, do you send me the soul, or do I send you the NFT? And obviously, with high stakes comes with high risk and high stress. And at the time when we were building the very first functionality of the trading itself, then we were able to gather from, and I think it was Snappa who was able to sort of gather this data, but it was close to $500,000 where people just distributed tweets and stories that they got scammed. And so that was sort of the first pain point, the gap that we saw in the industry, which was, how could we enable to safely trade? Because marketplace solutions were out there, but that was just buying and selling. But like, how can we enable trading between people? Because, as it relates to the NFTs, they are very much about sociality, right? Like, you have very specific NFTs. I like yours, I want to trade it with you, etc. So like, there's a lot of layers to that and to the community. And that's where we started our journey towards sort of becoming the hub for Solana NFTs. And the peer-to-peer trading has been, our first feature, but we are now going to sort of close the gap with not just trading, but also lending, which means that using NFTs as a collateral. I think we will go into more details with that as well. And then obviously selling and buying as well, directly NFTs, as well as utility tokens as it relates to NFT projects or projects. So what we're really doing here is aiming to become the hub, your one-stop shop of when you need to do anything with as it relates to Solana NFTs.
Okay, when you talk about peer-to-peer trading, so let's dive a little deeper into that. So normally, if I wanted to sell something, right, I would go to some place like Magic Eden, list my NFT, sell it for Solana. That's it. That's my option. Right? If I wanted to do peer-to-peer trade, where I wanted to like send my NFT to somebody and then they send me their NFT, or they send me their NFT plus some Solana. First of all, I have to make sure that I can trust them. Maybe I would have to go to Discord or Telegram, find some middleman and say, hey, I trust you, but I don't know this guy. So if you can hold on to the NFT for me, hold on to the Solana for me, and then make sure they send the NFT to you, and then you send the NFT to them, and then you send the Solana and the NFT to me. It's a big mess. It's a lot of, it's really a really messy thing, right? So, how can you explain how that process is simplified, or how you make that better, easier with YAW?
So right now it's sort of a 3-step process, right? So let's say I have found an NFT, or we have come up with a deal with you, Penguin, whether that is through Discord or whether it's through our site, and I have seen that you have indicated a certain NFT that you want to trade away. And now, we have worked out the deal, but to your point, how do we now actually execute that deal? And that's what the platform does, right? So I can set up the deal from my end, then you put your side in, and then as an initiator, I will see, okay, did you put the stuff in that we both agreed to? Yes, boom, I will complete the trade, and off to the tracks we go. The trade is completed. So we have sort of eliminated the risk as well as the stress from trading itself, because yeah, like even with these middlemen that you mentioned as a use case, unfortunately, often these people are also, scammers as well, or part of the schemes or whatnot. So our goal has been to just eliminate the stress and risk from the entire process. So simply set it up and complete the deal.
So just to be clear, this is not you, Robo, personally verifying this stuff. This is like all coded smart contract. This is all automated.
Yes, correct. So we have north of 1,000 projects verified. So, and that's a good point that you bring up, because it's, you know, verification of the NFTs is also a big portion of the value of the platform, because, you know, anyone could make an NFT with the same picture, basically, right? But like, as it relates to verifying that it's actually part of the true collection, that comes out of the box from the platform. So it sort of eliminates that risk as well. So we only allow verified trading because there's still people who don't understand the concept of whether it's a fake or real. So we took the decision that only allow real NFT trading, because yeah, there's just too much risk for people not understanding the element of it.
So you're saying that I cannot just make up any random NFT and sell it on here. It has to be something. Wait, when you guys say you verify, do you like talk to the team, make sure it's the right contract, or what's happening there?
Yes, so it's a portion of different things. So usually how the flow is, you know, when a new project enters the ecosystem, they apply, and then, you know, using sort of verification methods that we have in place, they're also automatic. We just verify their project as part of the legit project. So let's say, you know, Penguin, you release a collection of 1,000 NFTs. You get in touch with us, we verify that 1,000 NFTs, and then it's a rather smooth and automated process. And then going forward, your collection can be safely traded on the platform.
Okay, so pretty much if I see it, if it's tradable on YAW, it's genuine.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, and those green check marks that you see on those are just double for optics sake. Those are just the verification. And if this were the live screen, if you were to click on one of those, it would one of those images, it would pull up some of the information behind the NFTs, just double checking, you know, giving you information on who is the, you know, the creator of these. Oh, it looks like you got one open. Yeah, so if you click on one of those and you'll see the details. You know, it'll tell you all of the different attributes. That's all part of the metadata. I'll show you the token mint. You can view it on the Explorer. And yeah, so what we do is we will verify. So in this case, we have the verified, or sorry, the nuked apes, which is a collection of, I don't know how many. Let's just say 10,000. Might be more, might be less. But you know, someone will create a collection of NFTs. You know, 10,000, 5,000, whatever. And then, you know, people come to us, they submit, you know, hey, we want to get this verified so that it's safe to trade on the platform. We'll go through our own internal verification process. Like Robo was saying, you know, sometimes we prefer to speak with the creators of the project, the actual, you know, devs, and verify who they are, that they're in fact in control of everything. And then we verify the whole collection, the whole contract, so that now any piece from within that collection is totally fine. But, you know, if you, Penguin, were to go and just like, you know, export all of the nuked apes collection and download them to your computer, and then create a new mint and just mint them from a different contract, and then try to go take those new NFTs that you created, which are just, you know, counterfeits, and try to trade them on the platform, it's not going to work because they're not verified, and we only have it enabled for verified trading, if that makes sense.
Okay, and what you have on there right now is just like pick profile, like picture NFT. I mean, do you have like I don't know, like whitelist NFTs tokens?
We do. Yeah. So we have essentially 3 different types of tokens that you can trade. Number 1 is obviously the NFTs. That was the foundation of everything. Number 2, what became very popular, basically just in the year 2022, is you know, people would get whitelist tokens to give them access to minting or to any other kind of, like, you know, exclusive event. And so those whitelist tokens sometimes can be in the form of, I mean, they are kind of fungible tokens in a sense, but sometimes they get stored as like NFTs in your wallet. Sometimes they get stored as just like a regular cryptocurrency. But we enabled that because we saw a lot of times there were kind of like side markets of people trying to trade back and forth these tokens that would just give people access to a new mint or a new IDO or something like that. And so we created that you know, ability to trade those as well, just to kind of meet the market demand for it. And then the third type of token is simply just utility tokens. So you can just trade, you know, USDC, you can trade ENU, you can trade Radium, which for all of those tokens, because they do exist on, you know, DEXs, like on the Radium pool, you know, there's not really a big need for those. But there are sometimes, you know, with these NFTs, a lot of times what they're doing is people, you know, you can stake your NFTs and you receive some kind of, you know, I don't know, maybe you're staking some monkey and then you get bananas for staking or something like that. but there's no pool, there's no liquidity for these bananas, which maybe the bananas are used for like upgrades or whatever. But if someone else has a bunch of bananas and you're trying to get those bananas, you can also trade those on the peer-to-peer format. So for those types of fungible tokens that people want to, you know, buy and sell and trade, when they're so small or so early on that there isn't liquidity pools that are provided yet on dexes, we've enabled that functionality so that you can trade those as well.
Okay, so I think that saves a lot of time. Actually, now that I think about it, is that, you know, I don't have to list it on the marketplace, wait for somebody who is willing to buy it for Solana, and then take my Solana, and maybe somebody only wants the banana tokens. So I've used to take Solana, find the banana tokens, buy them, and then trade them with the, and yeah, so it's a big a lot of time wasted there. I think you can save a lot of steps if you just find someone who has what you want and you have what they want. You just make the switch directly, and you know, you can go on with your your IDO or whitelisting stuff or whatever without having to wait for stuff to show up on the marketplace.
Yeah, and this is a cool screen that you got showed up here. So what we have is in order to speed up the process of finding deals and finding NFTs to trade with. Previously, the only way in which it would work, the only way in which it could work is you would need to basically go into Discord. And if anyone ever played RuneScape, you know, it felt very much just like standing in a crowded place, just screaming at the top of your lungs, looking to trade, looking to sell, whatever, and difficult to get noticed. And so just in order to kind of systemize everything and keep it structured and simple and filterable and sortable and all that, we created these dynamic trade listings in which you can list your NFT that's available for trade. So in this case, you know, it's the Degen Ape Academy. And you can see there it says people can list what's available for trade and then also kind of show what they're interested in. So in this case, this person's looking for 119 SOL, or, you know, there's a couple other projects that he's interested in trading in exchange. So a piece from the Aurora collection or another Degen Ape collection would be something that he would be interested in selling or trading for. And then he left some comments there as well, kind of further explaining it. But now, in order to get in touch with this person, once you kind of have created your own, you know, you've connected your wallet, you create your own profile and connect your Discord, you can now speak to this person. You see there, it's kind of great. It says connect wallet to contact the owner. But once you connect your wallet, you can actually hop on in a private thread in Discord and talk with this guy and negotiate and you know, send him your Aurorian, you know, pictures and be like, hey, I've got this, I'll trade it for this and that. And you guys can negotiate a deal and then carry out the trade as normal. But this is such a great tool because, you know, maybe I have an Aurorian and I'm just wondering, you know, what can I get with this Aurorian? I want to trade it away. Under the expected in return drop-down menu, right beneath where you're clicking. Oh yeah, so these are showing, so you can say, hey, there's 2 Aurorians that are listed there, but I can also say, hey, I wonder who's interested in my Aurorian and what I can get in exchange. And so you can just go and filter out for all the people who have listed something available for trade that are interested in my Aurorian. And then you can quickly find those deals, find those trades. And then the other thing that's nice about this is that when you've listed your NFT for trading, it is not actually in the escrow smart contract. So it doesn't have to leave your wallet in this case. It's just, you can't list it without it being in your wallet. So it definitely has to be there. So we don't have people wasting time making fake listings, but it does not leave your wallet. And so you don't have to worry about it, you know, being escrowed or anything, because this is purely just a kind of like a, you know, Craigslist type thing to just help people find connections and begin negotiations.
Oh, that's cool. So, you know, if something were to happen, like say an IDO where there was a snapshot and someone might get a whitelist token if you hold the NFT in your wallet,
Exactly.
then this way you don't have to lose out on the benefits. You keep the benefits while still having the potential there of, you know, if you want to sell it. Like, you know, before, if you wanted to sell something, you would either have to choose between missing out on all the benefits of the holder or letting everybody know that you want to sell it. But now you have the best of both worlds. That's
awesome.
And
maybe you have like a rare NFT that like you're not in a hurry to get rid of it, but you'd like to list it at a high price, like 1,000 SOL. And you're like, hey, if anyone's interested in paying that price, or at least getting pretty close to that, or negotiating around that price, I'm more than happy to open up negotiations. But if you just list at that price, then your NFT could be listed for months and months. You could miss snapshots. You could be excluded from private Discord groups that require a wallet integration to access and everything. And maybe someone you've listed at 1,000 SOL, and someone wants to buy it for 900 SOL, but they have no way to get in contact with you or message you or anything like that. So in this case, you can have it listed. It's still in your wallet. You still have access to everything out there. And if anyone's ever interested, they can just start a message with you on Discord, and you guys can talk things through.
It's sort of cool to see that this has brought to life sort of diverse use cases of, for example, like the other day there was a trade with close to 100 NFTs that just changed owners in a bulk, right? So one person was able to find another person, and then they came up with a deal that was literally a bulk deal versus the alternative would have been you go to a marketplace, you list everything to a marketplace, you probably crash the floor price of it, and you also would struggle to get rid of them all. So it was sort of a win-win scenario. And yeah, that's sort of how we're approaching to this, or seeing this as it relates to, it just adds more value to the ecosystem and more use cases for people to actually get into new projects, etc.
Yeah, because the biggest issue with NFTs that any investors will kind of realize is they are illiquid, right? So in the example that Robo was speaking, somebody was trading, it was like 100 me colonies for one Aurorian plus like 100 SOL. In order to try to, if this person wanted to get into the Aurorian project and he was going to try to liquidate 100 of his me colonies all at once, he can't, it would be a very, very slow time to get all 100 of those to be bought up. And if people saw that some whale just listed 100 of the NFTs at floor price, then people might panic and start undercutting to try to exit. And it just kind of, it's tricky, these trading markets, and all collections kind of go up and down in one movement, but at the same time, each individual piece sells for its own unique price. And so the liquidity is difficult. And that is one thing that having the peer-to-peer trading platform working, what it helps to do is solve some of that liquidity by allowing people to find new ways to kind of move around from one collection to the next without having to actually be on the sell side, on the supply side, which impacts market prices.
That's cool. I like the ability to maybe one day I decide like I want to trade my NFT for something cool, but I don't know what, and I don't know who wants this. I can just go on YAWww and see whether or not there's anybody who wants my NFT and what they have, and whether I'm interested in that.
Exactly.
And not have to think of it myself. I can.
Right.
That's cool. All right. So those are the peer-to-peer trades. You also have peer-to-peer loans. And what does that have to do with NFTs? Aren't loans a different thing? Wait. Actually, before we move on to that, I forgot. I wanted to ask you, what tokens do you support besides Solana? Do you support USDC? I don't know, Serum tokens, or what? Anything else for P2P trades?
We have the main biggest ones, so USDC, Radium. I don't know the full list from the top of my head, but basically you can see the full list here if you come to the verified projects and search for it yourself. But basically, also verifying new tokens for us is a very fast and quick process. So if a project comes up with a new token, we will get it verified rather fast once they get in touch with us.
Yeah.
Okay, so verified tokens as well. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And sorry, I clicked off the screen for a second, but if you click that verified collections button, did you already click that? Yeah. So anything with the $, you can see are those utility tokens that you can trade back and forth. We can definitely add a lot more to that. We just kind of put on the ones that were popular and were requested. But yeah, anything with the $ are those typical cryptocurrency tokens. And if anybody wants another one added, they can just ping us in Discord and we'll get it up super fast.
Okay. All right. So on to the loans. So what did the NFTs have to do with the lending? So
that is perhaps, I don't know, a feature that I'm personally most excited about, I think. And so loans are not live yet. The trade listings we released a couple of weeks ago This listing functionality is rather fresh as well, and loans will be next. So shortly after our IDO, in a week or two, we will also come up with the peer-to-peer loans. But the idea of the loans is that you can use NFTs as collateral. And I can give you one of the screenshots from our white paper. But basically, many people in the industry are facing a liquidity issue, right? Like there's a lot of liquidity stuck in, very highly valuable NFTs. We're having trades on a daily basis where, you have basically 40K USDC in a single trade, right? Like switching hand between people. And the idea is that, let's use this Solana Monkey business as one of the examples on the left here. The Solana Monkey business is one of the most valuable NFT collections on Solana right now. And let's say I own this NFT and I'm looking for liquidity for the next week or two or for a month or whatever the time period. I can use that NFT as a collateral on my own terms, and then basically people can assess, or the borrowers, the lenders, sorry, they can come and see what do they deem, is this NFT worth the risk? So for example, here, this person is looking for 80 SOL for this NFT. I know that the floor price for this NFT right now is approximately 150 SOL. So for 30 days, is it going to crash and half the price? Very unlikely. So personally, I would even take this loan right now. And so I would lend out SOL for this NFT as a collateral. If this person does not pay back the interest within the dedicated time frame, I will get to keep this NFT. And so it's sort of a very fun way to bring more liquidity into the ecosystem. I think it's a feature that has been asked a lot by the community as well. And it's also very fun, right? Like even personally thinking like I will 100% go and check all of these available loan listings, because, it's very fun to see, okay, so what is the NFT used as a collateral? What are the terms, and does it align sort of with my own risk portfolio, risk sort of level that I'm willing to give out a loan for any specific NFT, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and if anyone's familiar with options, these loan listings essentially function as a CSEP, a cash secured equity put, which essentially says, hey, I have the capital to acquire something, and I will, as a result, I will make myself exposed to potentially buying it if certain conditions are met. And so you kind of have to be okay with that. That like, if the floor price on the Solana Monkey business, let's just say it's like 150 SOL right now. You're saying, hey, if it drops all the way to 80 SOL, I'm okay with that purchase. I've mentally kind of reconciled that and said, that's a risk I'm willing to take. And in return, you get, in this case, with the 15% interest over 30 days, you're collecting that premium of an additional 12 SOL. So hopefully for you, as the investor, it's a win-win. You're either going to be able to buy this at a big discount from the current kind of floor price for this collection, and that's a win for you, or that doesn't happen and you just end up collecting that premium, which you're equally satisfied with. And what's cool about this is that 15% interest over 30 days, if you can kind of pull that off every month, let's just say, and keep lending out that 80 SOL over, maybe there's two different pieces for 40 SOL each at 15%, or maybe it's just one for 80 SOL at 15%, you are drastically outperforming the Solana staking APY of 5%. So if anybody's sitting there on a ton of SOL, they're not really, they don't want to be illiquid and have like so many NFTs, but they would like to get some exposure or profit off of it some way. If you were to consistently get a 15% return every 30 days, you would be like more than quadrupling your Solana by the end of the year if you're just compounding that. And so, the upside to investors of being able to get that interest by lending it out to individuals versus, naturally when you're going to like a huge lending pool, if you're going to a huge lending pool, there's so many people trying to lend, all these things that like naturally the rates are going to fall a little bit. So you can't be as competitive with what you're asking for, with what your return is. But in this format, when it's purely just a peer-to-peer, one individual to one individual, one lending, one borrowing, using that NFT as collateral to make sure that the loan terms are safe, you can actually get a pretty big return if you're just out here consistently just lending whenever you can. And then alternatively, let's just say somebody's, maybe that Solana Monkey business is asking for 30 days and, you're like, I'd rather just lend it for 14 days. With all these loan listings, you will also be able to come here, scroll through them, find something that looks good to you or find something you want to negotiate. And then once again, you can, when you would click on that image, there would be an option to open up a private thread in Discord, and you can negotiate with that individual saying, hey, I want to do slightly less SOL or do a slightly higher interest rate or do slightly shorter time frame. And you guys can negotiate to figure out some terms that are good for both of you, which as of right now with any of those, I think this is actually first. I don't know of any individualized peer-to-peer lending, whether that's through a centralized thing like BlockFi or DeFi pools. I don't know of any individualized ability for people to negotiate terms of a loan and make that happen. This might be the first that I don't know, maybe you've seen something, Penguin, but I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I have never seen this happen in the crypto space. So it's kind of a cool new feature.
I think I've seen some where they just allow you to take out a loan on your NFT, but it's the same price for all the NFTs in the collection, which doesn't make much sense because you have rarer NFTs, right? So you have something might cost 1 Solana and the rare one might cost 100 Solana, but you can only borrow the same amount of money for both of them. So this way, I guess you can unlock the full potential. And if you manage to find somebody for whom this NFT has some kind of sentimental value, some kind of special value, they really, 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 really want it. Like if there was like a like a quantum trader with a penguin in it that I really liked, maybe that has more value to me than it does to somebody else. I'd be willing to offer a little more.
Absolutely. And to your point, I mean, in any collection, I think from the most common to the most rare, the way the markets kind of price those things, it's usually at least like a 10x difference from the in valuation from the most common to the most rare. And so if you are listing, something that's ranked within like the top 10 or top 20 of rare NFTs, because you're not ready to sell it, but you need some liquidity because maybe you're just a hyper degen and you just want to leverage up, which that's sometimes why people they're just like gonna they're gonna use their rare NFTs to get margin to buy more from the same collection, or they just need it for quick liquidity for whatever reason people need it. If you are just going off of like an automated loan pool that is just using the floor price for the whole collection to calculate your loan to value, even if they're trying to get you a pretty good like a 50% loan to value ratio, based on the rarity of your NFT, you're likely going to be ending up with like a 5 to 10% LTV. And so you're taking on a ton of risk by lending out or by collateralizing an extremely expensive NFT, and you're getting back in return almost next to nothing for your loan. And so that's not going to make much sense for anybody to take that on. And unfortunately, I don't think that like automated like algorithms just kind of using dynamic pricing are able to kind of factor in all of that goes into NFTs, which is very much because it is art in a sense, right? It's subjective, it's intuitive, or I should say requires intuition. And so there are some more like I guess artistic is the best way to describe it. There are some artistic factors that need to be considered when pricing an NFT.
Yeah, and it's sort of a problem that if you want to programmatically solve, then you are going to take steps that mitigate risk, right? And it doesn't really make sense because, we've talked to a lot of people in the industry and our advisors, people, and some people with the deep pockets, and everybody just unanimously says that, yeah, it's a no-brainer to lend out money. So what we believe will happen with this feature is, or we're trying to make it as friendly to the borrowers as possible, because they will sort of be the scarcity of the supply side here, not people looking to lend out money, right? Like, again, like 3 of the loans here are no-brainer clicks, if you know anything about Solana NFTs, for example, right? And so it will be the borrower's market. That's why they should have the flexibility to set the terms. And obviously, if the terms are horrible, right, like then no one's going to give out the loan. But I think it will be friendly to the people who are looking to take out loans as a collateral NFTs. Plus, there will be also functionality that you can actually pay out your loan early, which further sort of decreases the risk if you are borrowing. And still, as a lender, you will make a minimum interest. So rather excited about this upcoming functionality that will hit right after our IDO.
Will we be able to negotiate? Like, say, I see that monkey there, and I think, all right, but I'll only give you like 70 SOL or something. Can you?
Yep, I mean that's exactly it, right? So the functionality that you see in the trade listings right now. So let's take this beautiful horse here. I can already get in touch with the owner, and right now we're leveraging Discord for this. So anybody who lists stuff or interacts with the platform, they sort of connect their Discord. And that's how the communication happens. So you can always find the other side. And that's exactly the same thing, what you will be able to do with the loans, as well as with the marketplace functionality as well, that you can always sort of get in touch. You know, I see you have a monkey there. You're asking for 80. You know, I'm willing to give you 70. So if you lower your terms to 70, I'll give it to you right now. So that's going to be sort of the underlying functionality of all of our features that we're building.
And is it only money? Could I say, you know, all right, you can have 70 SOL and also borrow my Star Atlas ship for 30 days or something like that?
So the MVP version, that's a great question, but the MVP version will be only NFTs for SOL. What we already actually could already do using our infrastructure that we have in place for the trading would be that, let's say I have a collection of 5 quantum traders and I want to take a bulk loan on them at once, right? Like not just lend out one by each, but actually I want to bulk sum of one loan for 5 NFTs. That's already in our capability, but it's a bit of a UI challenge, and you know it's not MVP, so the loans initially will feature single NFTs, but we will then from there also advance into bulk offerings, which is yet another way to sort of advance the value and the use case of the feature.
Bulk offerings from different collections. So a trader, a quantum trader, and an ape and a monkey could be in the same loan deal.
For example, yes. So
okay.
if I'm looking to borrow, and I have, let's say, I own the monkey and the ape, I will actually not take the loan out of them separately, but actually will use it as a bulk deal to get better terms for myself, for example.
Which is probably the use case for that will you probably be more seen for if you have a bunch of collections that are all valued around 1 SOL, rather than, you know, taking out 10 different loans for half a SOL and having to struggle with that. Like you can just put them all in one selection, be like, hey, this whole thing's worth 10 SOL. I'm looking for a 5 SOL loan for 30 days or whatever. So I think that will be where the functionality comes more into play.
I guess it would be the equivalent of like when I was younger, if I was cash strapped, I could say, here's my whole Magic the Gathering card collection.
Yep, exactly.
You can, if I want to borrow $2,000, and then, you know, if I don't pay you back, you can have the whole collection. Yep. If I don't pay you back, yeah. So okay, that's interesting. I want to ask you about the security. Like, where does the NFT go during the loan, while the loan's, you know, in progress? Where is the NFT held?
So it goes into sort of an escrow account. So once you set up the loan, your NFT will go into escrow. Then the other side, let's say they lend you the SOL, it still stays in that escrow, and it is only released to whether the lender, if you sort of don't pay that SOL back within time, or if you do end up paying it back, then you just get it back yourself. But until then, it sits in an escrow that is then controlled by a smart contract on Solana.
So there's no other way for that NFT to leave the wallet, right? Either you get the money or you get the NFT.
Correct. There's no other way. Yeah.
All right, that's cool. That's nice to know that it's secure there in the smart contract. All right, so we have the trades and we have the loans that are coming soon. That's interesting. So I see you also have a marketplace. You already have P2P trades. So what's the marketplace for?
So the marketplace is really sort of closing the gap as it relates to, what do you want to do with your NFTs? And basically, we will have two functionalities to the marketplace. So one is the tokens, which is increasingly more and more normal to, let's say you're launching a new project, especially if you're very popular, you're going to have a whitelist token, and then people would actually want to trade those tokens. Or again, you sort of have your own project utility token that actually has an aftermarket value as well. So that's going to be one side of the marketplace functionality that people will be able to simply just buy and sell this. Again, it's a feature that has been asked from us a lot. And also, since we already have these projects verified, then it's a very natural step for us to turn it on. And then same goes for the NFTs, right? Like that you are able to just buy and sell these NFTs directly. Maybe you don't want to talk to anybody directly, right? As it relates to finding a trade. And so you just want to get rid of it or sell it. And then you list it to the marketplace. And we believe that as we bring all of these features together, again, it sort of enables YAWW to become a one-stop shop for people to deal with anything as it relates to the Solana NFTs. And also, once we turn on the marketplace functionality, then we have it set aside in our tokenomics that there's an incentive for people as well as projects actually to use the platform as you sort of conduct business on the platform itself. You get the YAW token as a kickback by transacting on the platform. So it sort of incentivizes our existing community as well as new customers or users basically to come and use YAW for anything that they need to do as it relates to the Solana NFTs.
And you mentioned a YAW token, so we might as well get into that. What's up with that? You have an IDO coming up? What's the deal with that, and what's the utility for the YAW token?
So yes, we're having an IDO in a couple of days now. So in 2 days, actually, to be more precise, we're using Radium as the partner to launch with. They've been amazing, helping a lot and advising us a lot on our tokenomics, etc. So the token will drop the pool will open on the 9th, and then the tokens will be released from the public sale on the 10th on Radium. And there's a small portion in the public sale. Majority of the token will be released for NFT holders, so people who have been with us now for a while, who have supported the project. They will be able to stake away their NFTs to earn the YAW token in return. And out of the gate, there's sort of the biggest utility that we have around the token is that 50% of the revenue that will be made on the YAW platform via all of our different features and functionalities will be then used to support the value of the token in the aftermarket. So the better we do as a platform, the better the token will do, and we sort of want to support people through that. Then we will also plug in the functionality that you can actually use the YAW token to pay your fees. So normally you will pay them in SOL, and so that would set a direct again value for the token itself that you can use it as utility. And then beyond staking the token and the NFT for a period of 2 years over the long term, we are also building features where you can sort of use the YAW token for other subscription services and benefits on the platform itself.
Yeah, so this chart here that you have pulled up, Penguin, is confusing because there's lots of lines going around, but definitely worth anybody later on coming through and taking a second look at this and a closer look at this. But essentially that stability pillar right there with the big orange box around it, that is the YAW treasury. And it's just important to note that 50% of all platform revenue, I mean, Rob already said this, but I'm just reiterating, 50% of all revenue from the platform, whether that's through peer-to-peer trading, peer-to-peer lending, the marketplaces, 50% of all of that goes into the YAW treasury, which has the sole purpose of protecting and supporting the price of the YAW tokens and the YAW NFTs. And then as well as 50% of all aftermarket fees from like the quantum traders and the Solstein. So if anyone doesn't know, there's usually a royalty on NFT sales on aftermarkets. And so, we have like an 8% royalty on the quantum traders. And so all of the trade volume that's happening with the quantum traders, 8% of that is a royalty, which gets split 50-50 between the team and the treasury. And so all of that gets pulled up into the treasury. And I think just so far year to date, I think just from the royalties and the revenue, I think we have like, I forget the exact amount, but it's all priced in Solana. And Solana obviously has crashed, but somewhere between 300,000 to 400,000 US dollars worth of Solana in the treasury right now that's kind of ready to go to just support this YAW token after IDO. And we have, in the YAW treasury section, a little bit more details on how it can actually do that and how the treasury can operate. And we'll definitely be giving, the community, so like the YAW token holders and the YAW NFT holders, an opportunity to voice their kind of opinions on how those treasury funds should be best spent. And as well as a couple talks with, well, I won't get into it too much yet, but in terms of how that will actually be working and operating. And then for people who are brand new to NFTs, they're normally just like, oh, right click save. And I think where that right click save narrative starts to break down is when you do get into these functionalities where you need the verifiable ownership of the NFT to access certain benefits. So with YAW platform, you can stake your NFTs on the YAW platform in order to receive more YAW tokens. Additionally, holding one of these NFTs is going to be your ticket into the IDO, because the way IDOs work with Radium is just to kind of prevent against bots and spam and manipulation and everything. You kind of need it's essentially like a whitelist token, but you need these like raffle tickets to enter into the IDO. And so the way in which you can get one of those raffle tickets is by holding a YAW NFT, which, by the way, we are, if you don't have any raffle tickets yet, there's only 2 ways to get into it. Number one is by staking Radium, but there is like a long period of staking between, like, I think the longer you're staking, the more raffle tickets you get, but the shortest amount of time is 7 days. So it's too late for that since we IDO in 2 days. But the second way is by holding a YAW NFT, so like a quantum trader or a Solstein. We'll be taking a snapshot randomly today. So anytime between now and, like, I don't know, 12 hours from now is kind of your last opportunity to get some raffle ticket allocations, so that when the IDO comes on Wednesday, we open up the IDO pool, or Radium opens up the IDO pool, and you can convert any of your, or you can enter any of your raffle tickets into the lottery. And so it's the IDO price is, there you go. The IDO price is 20 cents per token. We're kind of selling them off in batches of 625 YAW tokens worth 125 USDC at once. And so when you connect your wallet here, you'll see how many tickets you have available for the lottery. And then if you want to submit any of them, you just pay the 125 USDC, and then they are submitted. All winning tickets will be redeemed for 625 YAW tokens each. Any losing tickets, you'll just be refunded your 125 USDC. So again, the way in which you can participate in this is, at this point, if you're not already staking Radium, you just have to buy a quantum trader by, like, within the next few hours or so, because the snapshot will be taken imminently.
And I guess where should you go to buy a quantum trader? I guess you would go to YAW.
You know what? Unfortunately, not on YAW yet, since we don't have the full marketplace exchange. Of course, if you find some, if you're filtering out here for people who are willing to trade, you can definitely do some over-the-counter trades that way. But Magic Eden right now is probably having the most trade volume for these quantum traders. And so, yeah, Magic Eden would probably be the way to go until we build out our own exchange.
So just quantum traders or the Solsteins also get tickets?
Yep. They have the same utility between the quantum traders and the Solsteins. The only thing is the Solsteins were kind of the Genesis NFT before the YAW trading platform even existed. But yeah, more information about that on the white paper if you're curious.
Okay, so basically you can grab one of these or one of these, and make sure you don't list them. Or if you want to list them, you can list them on here.
Yep.
So it doesn't leave your wallet. That gets you a ticket. When this opens up, at whatever time it's going to be in your local time, I guess. No. to UTC. Okay, so when that opens, make sure you have enough USDC per winning ticket. And then try your luck there, right?
Yep.
Okay. Let me open this up. Can we see if we have any questions? Comment here, it says, Did you beat says really loves the option to connect to talk between sellers and buyers. Yeah, I think that's a big deal there. Sometimes, trading on OpenSea or whatever these marketplaces, it feels very impersonal. Kind of lose that little like personal element of like you're not able to haggle or
Right.
or deal so much. So it's a little bit more of personalized way of trading. Aiden asks, is it only Solana native NFTs right now? Are you guys going to go cross-chain in the future?
Nothing's stopping us from going cross-chain in the future. But yeah, as of right now, it is only Solana.
Okay. I mean, I guess if you get big enough, that might be an option there in the future.
Yeah, I think the way that we're thinking through things now is there's way too much low-hanging fruit on Solana to build out, such as like the loans and all these things, before we really open up to cross-chain things. Like, I mean, Solana is just the fastest moving ecosystem, and there's so many things we can build here first that to spend time opening up to other protocols. While we want to do that, we could add 5 more different like functionalities within Solana before we could build out one, cross-chain functionality.
And I think have you guys seen that Serum hackathon? I forget the name of the project. There was just a project that was doing like KYC, like they could freeze accounts so that only KYC people could trade.
Oh,
what was the name of that project? But anyway, yeah, they partnered with Civic, and you could trade only like only KYC people can trade. But okay, basically what I'm saying is that there are people working on projects like that to allow institutional investors and people to start trading stuff that's more legal. So I think in the future, I think we could see something like people trading, like putting their home up for like a I guess like a P2P mortgage, and
totally.
they could maybe do it on YAW. They could say, I'm going to put up my home in exchange. Please give me one quantum trader, like my $1 million home.
Right.
Please give me one quantum trader or something like that. That could be, the future potential there of the platform here.
Yeah, or pink slips for cars. I could see pink slips becoming digitized, becoming NFTs one day.
Yeah, and then the reason I say KYC is, I guess maybe in the future you could only allow people who live in your country, who have certain credentials, to get that pink slip, so it means something. It's worth something to them. Yeah, a lot of potential here. Okay, so I guess unless there's anything else you want to cover, I think let's do it. Let me see the comment here. There's a question here. Says, is there a burn NFT option? Not sure what that means. Why would you want to burn your NFT?
You can always send it to snappa.soul if you want to burn it.
Yeah, yes. Actually, real quick, you mentioned these NFTs, right? What's the utility of these NFTs? Could you real quick talk about what they are and what use they still have? If somebody is interested in buying them.
So the primary utility of these NFTs is basically the cheapest way to DCA, dollar cost average, into the YAW token. So there's no cheaper way to get the YAW token than to buy one of these quantum traders. You get an initial airdrop of like 2,000 YAW tokens, and then you can stake it. And between the airdrop and the staking, it's about 60% of the total YAW token supply goes to the YAW NFT holders. So they are by far the cheapest and most efficient way to get the YAW tokens, which you can see it broken out down there. 53.33% or 160 million YAW tokens is just to NFT stakers. And then there's an extra 6.3% on top of that. That's in the initial airdrop within the first 30 days after the IDO. But so that's the primary utility of the NFTs. And of course, the token itself has all other kinds of utility, like Rob was mentioning, you know, subscription services, premium products, B2B, automated escrow, API services, all those types of things. But then the NFTs, in addition to that, we're kind of working with the community to build out our own DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, that will kind of become its own powerhouse of an investment vehicle for anybody who wants to get involved. We'll likely have a strong voice in how treasury funds should be used, from the 50% of all platform revenue and everything. And so that's kind of the core utility of these.
All right. So I guess if you don't win a ticket, you could buy an NFT and stake that, and then you won't get all the tokens at once, but you can stake it, and over time get even more tokens than you would in the IDO if you're bullish long term.
Yep, definitely.
And I think an important thing to point out, let's go back to this chart here, is that built into the model here is that they have a treasury, right? So it's not like I see some marketplaces with this model where, yeah, they get revenue as long as some people are trading, but then once people stop trading, they don't have any more revenue. So if you build this treasury here, I guess there's some DeFi stuff you could do with the treasury to make sure to provide like a continued value for the ecosystem.
Yep.
So the more trading happens on the platform, the bigger this gets, right? What's this acquire YAW at a discount thing? Is this like an OHM bond kind of deal?
Yeah, so it's not quite the same as OHM. It's just we have some tokens set aside for like investors, so people who are willing who have a longer term vision of the YAW tokens, and they're willing to vest out for a full 2-year period. They can acquire YAW tokens at a discount, but it does vest over a long period of time. And so that's kind of the idea. Is we're putting these tokens into diamond hands, and so we're offering a discount at that. But that does provide just additional income for the treasury, since it's selling those YAW tokens, and then those funds which it sells in exchange for USDC or SOL or whatever can then still be returned back into the ecosystem to buy up more off the exchanges.
All right. Okay, so I think coming up in the hour mark now. So I think just to close it off, could you summarize real quick what the USP of YAW is, and how people can get into the ecosystem if they're interested?
I think the USP of YAW, first and foremost, is our trading capability that we will advance forward, our peer-to-peer loaning capability, and then as we will close it off with the marketplace functionality. Again, you will be able to do everything on the YAW platform as it relates to Solana NFTs. And if you are bullish about Solana and the future of NFTs, then hopefully we have made you bullish on YAW as well, as we build out these features, and as we have a track record of showing that we can build these with a solid and strong team of developers. And basically, if you do want to participate, you can grab an NFT or simply partake the public round on our IDO on the 9th.
And then if I buy YAW on the IDO, is there going to be staking?
Yes.
For my tokens?
Yep. There's going to be staking for the YAW tokens itself, staking for the NFT. You can also provide liquidity into the pools if you want. So there's going to be different mechanisms for you to earn, as well as once we sort of kick off the marketplace functionality as well, then simply by using the platform, you will earn an extra kickback of the YAW token itself. So that is our way to grow together with the community, essentially.
Right.
Yeah, and we as a platform, anybody who's been around since day one, or even anybody who's just joining today, can tell that we've always been put the community first, and every decision that we're making is in the best interest of the community. And you can even just scroll through some of our particularly more so in like the verified announcements where you have to be holding an NFT to even see those channels. But we're always asking our NFT holders for their feedback before we've ever made any kind of big decision, big roadmap change, anything. We're always asking for the decision. So we're taking their feedback every step of the way. And so this is a platform that's, you know, designed to be the hub of Solana NFTs, the one-stop shop for anything pertaining to these NFTs. And we're building it out in a way that rewards the users, rewards the holders, rewards the community, and constantly, you know, getting feedback from the community in the forward direction of this app. So if you want to, you know, profit off of something and also participate in it and be able to, like, you know, make your voice heard, you know, this is a place where you can be. And by holding on to the YAW tokens, you know, you're getting exposure to the Solana NFT ecosystem, which is one of the biggest, fastest growing, booming industries right now. You know, by holding onto the YAW tokens, you're getting exposure to that without worrying about having the liquidity issues that's inherent with holding NFTs themselves, without worrying about how do I pick the right collection? How do I know if I should buy this monkey or that monkey or whatever? You know, you can just buy the tokens. You're getting exposure to the whole ecosystem. And as this whole platform grows, the revenue grows, the support behind the YAW token increases, and we just have a quickly expanding community of people that are just so excited about not just the space, but particularly what we're doing to build out and to just facilitate the use of these NFTs as essentially a social currency, a medium of exchange that has like a social element to it. And so, yeah, so we're extremely excited, extremely bullish, obviously. That's why we're here. But yeah, would love anybody to participate by buying onto these YAW tokens.
All right, so there you have it. If you're interested, you can check out the website at YAWW YAWW.io. There's a link to the Discord down here if you want to talk to the community, talk to the team, I guess. There's you can go to Radium if you want to do the IDO. You can go to Marketplace to buy these NFTs. And yeah, so if you're bullish Solana, bullish NFTs, I guess this is a strong addition to your portfolio. I think. I also have some these quantum traders, and I have 1 or 2 Solsteins, I think. So looking forward to the IDO there. All right, so thank you, Robo. Thank you, Snepa, for joining us today, and maybe we'll talk sometime after the launch.
Awesome. Thank you, Penguin.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone.